Hello, 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 everyone. My name is DM Rhino, and today I thought I'd show you how I make a map using Dungeon Alchemist. And we are going to make the map from the Dragonlance book, and this is the Scales of War. And of course, this will be available on my Patreon for everyone to download for free. So as you can see, I just generated a quick map there with Dungeon Alchemist. I'm not too happy with it. I was just playing around with the settings, and then I've got to the blank canvas that I want to get to. I was pretty happy with this because the Scales of War, they don't give you a map. You kind of have to figure out how to place everything. They just basically say that it's in a forest with a caravan of sort, and there's things that are attacking. So as we are going through this, you can see I'm just looking at all the different settings I can have a look at, and generally what I would like to place and things that I could find. So I was trying to find the caravan there, just placed the caravan, just had a look at if I could, where it could be in general scope of things, making it bigger, making it smaller, what type of caravan I could look at, because they just describe it as a caravan or a wagon a type. So I kind of thought that would be better. And then I put it on that kind of view. You can see with Dungeon Alchemist, you can actually change the view setting of that and see it in the three-quarter view or the top-down view. I use my maps mainly in top-down view because it helps. But now I'm just creating some landscape, some depth, some character to the map. I wanted it to feel like it had been lived in before, maybe a bit of a topical kind of forest, not just your standard forest flat plain, but just giving it a bit of character. And I'm just flattening out some of the hillsides there. I'm using the brush setting just to flatten out that stuff. Put the caravan right at the bottom, right at the top, I should say, of the map, so that the players would have to go through the woods. And even then, I'm just creating over here the road and trying to flatten out parts of the road and where it would be. And now I'm looking for like a texture for the road. You can see I kind of want to stick to the brown because most roads are going to be brown. And I'm making a little pathway for my players to go through. I'm making a little wriggly, raggly pathway, starting them off there, flattening it out, kind of branching them off to another side. Maybe that's a different kind of path there onto. I didn't really like that color, so I went back to the original. And then again, we're going to try and find a bit of more character. Well, I don't know how would we describe it, but just something to visually tell the story in the map. As we look at the Scales of War in the book, it just basically says that there's a frantic farmer that rushes towards your party and that he has been hired for protection of this caravan, and these creatures attacked. And that's what it says. So we kind of left up to our own imagination here. As we can see, I'm just adding some trees to this because they said it's in a forest setting. So I thought, well, forest setting, let me add some trees, and just carefully placing them sort of in a way of framing the map and making sure that it feels like a forest that maybe has been traveled through quite a bit, maybe has a bit of history, maybe can feel a bit more Dungeons and Dragons-y. And then I placed some palms, maybe a dead tree. I was looking at actually some branches there also. Just, you also want to leave, when you create maps and you want to tell the story, you want to actually leave some visual clues when you're doing a virtual tabletop. So not, it's the problem with most D&D sometimes is that players might pick up on the wrong visual clue. So you want to limit them, but you still want to lead them down a path. So maybe a dead tree or some rubble, as I was trying to find some rubble, some broken parts, some boxes, maybe just to entice them to go to the direction where the caravan was attacked. As well as your NPC leading that way, I wanted to give them some, as I said before, visual clues, because you could also put like items in those visual clues for your party, and they could say, oh, what's in the box? And you go, oh, well, there's some treasure in the box, or there's some gold, or there's another clue to the setting. And when they zoom in or on their virtual tabletops, or if you want to have a look or maybe put some history in it, maybe there was a tower here at one point in this forest, you could add to the lore of your story. And I also like the idea of ruins being a part of a forest. I think that's always very fun, especially in the fantasy world, because you don't know what happened 1,000 years ago, what happened 2,000 years ago, or 100 years ago. Maybe someone built a tower here. Maybe there was a wizard tower and it got blown up. And this could also add some visual clues to it. And we've got some rock settings, again, rock settings for some cover for your party. So if battle does happen, at least they can hide and duck and cover. Of course, we have trees to do that too, but with the Dungeon Alchemist, we can see that there's a bit of a rock setting, or maybe they feel a bit more comfortable hiding behind a rock than a tree. Some people like to hide behind a rock. And then I also put another smaller kind of caravan there, as we can just, again, like a visual clue to lead them up to where this happened. Maybe this was the first part of the caravan that was left before the attacks happened, and they tried to run away, but they were ultimately attacked, and the farmer came running from the top part where I'm placing these like broken things over here, and he came running down. And maybe your party also would like to use a caravan or some sort of wagon. And this could be a great indication for them to take on this caravan and wagon just in their whole adventuring thing. And when we come to the last part, I didn't really know what else to place there. I was just looking for different kind of visual stuff to make it interesting. You can see I placed a little road map, a little signage to maybe point them in the direction of the town in Dragonlance where they're going to start off with. The other part, I was thinking, would this be interesting if I put like these things here? Would it be too much? It's also about knowing what to take away and maybe, do when to call it, when to stop working on it. And that's always a bit difficult, like, because you want to make it as interesting as possible, but not over visualized and over the top. As you can see, I was placing some dead trees there just to add some things, maybe moving around a tree or two, just to make it a bit more aesthetically color matched. And I put a dead tree at the back there, and I was like, oh, that could be interesting. Maybe that could be a sign of like, don't go there, because that could be more dangerous, because the caravan was really putting it into where the direction is. And there, my map was done. I placed the little scroll at the bottom there, Scales of War in Dragonlance, because again, they don't give you a map. You had to make this one all up by yourself. And I put a little signage there to show them the direction. And I was pretty happy with that in the end. And that's what it looks like. So yeah, what you guys think of this map? I was pretty happy with it overall. It is free on my Patreon, as I said. So if anyone wants to download it for free, it is free. I put all the little times of day on it if you want. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. And the next map we'll be creating would be one in Dragonlance that they actually do give you a map. And this one I'll do an overlay on it just to see how we could create it in a different kind of setting with Dungeon Alchemist, which is a program on Steam. If you don't know, it's a really fun program to create maps. And all of these maps can be imported into your D&D Beyond. Other than that, I hope you guys have had a great day. I'll see you next time as I'm saving off here the last map. Cheers, everyone. Bye.